Imagine a small island nation transforming itself from Europe's sick man into a booming tech hub practically overnight. How did Ireland pull off one of the most dramatic economic comebacks in history, only to face new crises just as quickly? Let's dive into the incredible rise, fall, and resilience of the Celtic Tiger. In the early 1990s, despite economic challenges, Ireland's strategic investment in education and a refreshed economic approach paved the way for a boom known as the Celtic Tiger. Under the leadership of Bertie Ahern, Ireland adopted aggressive tax reforms, moving away from a dual services tax rate of 40% and a manufacturing tax rate of 10%. The country instituted a uniform 12.5% corporate tax rate, which, along with reduced taxation on export sales profits, made Ireland an attractive hub for global businesses. The well-educated English-speaking workforce further augmented Ireland's appeal. Tech giants like Apple, Facebook, and Google, as well as pharmaceutical powerhouses such as Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson, established European bases in cities like Dublin and Cork, attracted by the blend of favorable tax conditions and a skilled labor pool. The influx of businesses into Ireland had a substantial impact, with year-over-year GDP growth exceeding 6% to 7% annually. Fueled by heavy investment from U.S. tech giants and enhanced by Ireland's foresight in prioritizing education, the nation transitioned from being the sick man of the European Union to a major exporter of high-tech goods and services. With rapid growth catching the eyes of speculators and opportunists worldwide, Ireland saw a massive influx of people, reversing the historical trend of emigration. Irish expatriates and new settlers rushed to the booming economy, leading to a construction boom that soon comprised a significant portion of the Irish economy. Banks perceived the real estate market as an infallible opportunity and began lending money at much higher rates for property development and mortgages. To finance this lending spree, banks borrowed vast sums from larger institutions, predominantly at short-term rates. The property sector's contribution to GDP swelled, and housing assets ballooned on banks' balance sheets. It seemed like a golden era until 2008. In 2007, the number of new homes and apartments began to outpace demand. As this slowdown progressed, banks became concerned about their overzealous property-related lending and implemented more stringent guidelines for loans. Then, in 2008, the American housing market crashed, sending a ripple effect through the world's financial systems. This global downturn hit Ireland particularly hard. Irish banks, heavily reliant on international markets for capital, suddenly found those markets less accommodating. With banks wary of lending money, Irish banks that were overexposed had no room to breathe. Their business model of short-term borrowing to finance long-term loans meant they were continuously refinancing their debt. When property values began to plummet in Ireland, bank balance sheets teetered under the weight of bad loans. Facing the potentially catastrophic prospect of a banking system collapse, the Irish government boldly guaranteed the debt of its 6 major banks. As the crisis progressed, this assurance proved insufficient, and the government intervened directly, bailing out some banks and nationalizing others. However, the enormity of the crisis soon overwhelmed its resources, and in 2010, it became clear that Ireland would need external assistance, leading to a bailout from the European Union and the International Monetary Fund. The aftermath of the crisis was starkly visible on the Irish landscape. Ghost estates, or unfinished housing developments, became symbols of the abrupt halt in the construction sector. The shift in housing culture was also palpable. Many turned from buying to renting, reflecting both the economic reality and a lost confidence in the property market. Despite the severe impact of the global financial collapse and Ireland's own housing market crash, the country remained an attractive destination for global tech, pharmaceutical, and finance giants seeking a European base, thanks largely to its favorable tax policies and well-educated populace. To counteract the economic downturn, the Irish government introduced several austerity measures, including hikes in income tax, VAT, and property taxes. Pension reductions and other spending cuts were also implemented. Domestically, many workers accepted pay reductions or reduced hours to ensure businesses remained viable. Throughout this period, Ireland maintained its status as a significant exporter of goods, which, combined with the aforementioned measures, set the stage for an economic turnaround. These measures pulled Ireland's economy back towards growth. Rapid growth. In 2015, the Irish GDP grew by a whopping 26.3%, a number so large that it drew skepticism from pundits and analysts worldwide. Upon further analysis, it became clear that the surge was heavily influenced by multinational corporations relocating their intellectual property assets to Ireland to optimize their tax positions. This asset shuffling massively inflated Ireland's capital assets and, consequently, its GDP. Furthermore, certain accounting practices allowed for profits to be registered in Ireland even if the corresponding production took place in another country. The result: while the books reflected an Irish economic boom, the tangible benefits to the average Irish citizen were considerably less pronounced. Ireland's economic recovery did not come without challenges. Alongside financial reforms and fiscal stimulus to boost economic activities, the Irish government and financial sector initiated a series of housing reforms in an attempt to invigorate the property market and revive the construction sector. The government introduced incentives for first-time homebuyers and eased lending criteria. With memories of the last housing bubble still fresh, this move was seen by some as risky. The influx of foreign workers to Ireland created a sudden surge in demand for housing, leading to steep increases in property prices. However, the construction sector, still recovering from the initial collapse, struggled to meet this demand promptly. This mismatch of supply and demand put significant upward pressure on housing prices and rents. Strict regulations and zoning laws made it difficult to initiate new construction projects. As people flocked to Dublin, Ireland's largest city, housing demand surged faster than supply. The consequence was a brewing housing crisis characterized by skyrocketing rents, escalating house prices, and an increasing number of homeless people. From meteoric economic growth to housing crises and beyond, Ireland's journey is a testament to the highs and lows of modern economies. But what's next for the Emerald Isle? Will its resilience shine through yet again, or are we witnessing the start of a new chapter in its history? Don't forget to like, comment, and share your thoughts below. Let's keep this conversation going.